My name is Surinder. I'm from London in the UK. I have two beautiful daughters, and I first met Cully when I was just starting my initial self-love journey. I was literally came out of a divorce of 18 years and I was just trying to find myself. I would say that my level of self-love was non-existent. I had no idea what the concept of self-love was at all. We were never taught it at school. And so throughout my whole childhood, my adulthood, that was just non-existent. Everyone else was put first, and that's how I was conditioned by society, by culture, to always put everybody else first before myself. So when I met Cully and I heard all his stuff, it was strange to listen to, that it was okay to love yourself, and it wasn't seen as selfish, because that's what I believed it was. If I put myself first, I wasn't being a good person. So it was interesting what Cully had said on his videos, that self-love was what you needed to become a better version of yourself. When I first worked with Cully, I was a bit apprehensive, to tell you the truth. I wasn't too sure what he was going to be able to do to help me, because I was so lost. I was so broken. I just didn't know how I could move forward with my life. He gave me tools and ways of looking at things differently. Even the journaling. I used to journal, but he showed me different methods of journaling and how the layers, there were so many layers, and I had to keep on going deeper and deeper to self-reflect. So which we knew is self-reflection is so important to grow as a person. So that was really a really pivotal point. And also the way that he made me question a lot of things and go away and think about it was helpful. Even at the time, I was, like, oh God, why doesn't he just tell me the answer? Just tell me what I need to hear to move forward and to break these cycles. But he needed me to find the answers within, and learning that and finding and being able to really find the answers within was actually more powerful for me as a person, because ultimately we all do have the power within. We just being taught or had so much self-doubt that we don't believe that we can heal ourselves. So I'm grateful to Cully for being able to show me the way, should I say. Before connecting with Cully, I'd actually never even heard of connecting with your inner child. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know that we all had an inner child. So that was actually quite interesting to understand that there's a person, a young person within me that has been through so much, and I've either ignored this or just put them to the back of my head so that I never had to even think about it. But there was this vulnerable girl that I had forgotten about. And during that time with Cully, I was able to remember her and remember what she had been through. And I'm not saying that I had a hard or bad childhood, because I didn't. I had a good childhood and I had wonderful parents. But I think what the thing is, we all go through things in our childhood which affects us later on in life, whatever they may be. And knowing that and understanding that and self-reflecting on that was a big thing that I had to understand. And over these last year or so, I've been able to be compassionate for my inner child. And in turn, that's being compassionate to myself and learning that it's okay. And I can look back at my inner child and be like, I love you. And I am going to look after you for the rest of my life, because that inner child is still within me. She was just a bit lost. And I found her again. How has Kuli helped me overcome my childhood traumas? The fact that I have recognized what they are, I think is a major thing in the first place. Because I think like we said, is we've been conditioned to believe that having a trauma it has to be something like a physical thing that could have physically happened to you as a child that has mentally and emotionally affected you, is also something to really be aware of and not to minimize them. And I think that's what I did, because I was minimizing everything that's happened to me as a person, as a child, should I say, and not realizing or recognizing that actually they were major things, because actually they've affected how I am as a person now, and how I've allowed people into my life that not necessarily should have been in my life, or who I settled for. So understanding that the decisions or the things that you've been through as a child can directly influence who or what you do in your future is a major. And that's something that I kind of got from Kuli and was able to take forward and learn that actually, no matter how small something has happened, it can affect how you are as an individual later in your life. So what was my major breakthrough with Kuli? I think the biggest thing, which was probably the most important thing, was about self-love anyway. But the one comment that will always stick with me and I will always remember and go back to is his comment about your best friend being you, me. And that has just stuck with me and resonates with me. And I need to treat myself how I treat my best friend, and know that I don't need to be attached to people, and that I can be alone and not be lonely, and it's okay. And yes, ultimately one day I would like a life partner, but at the same time that I'm comfortable being on my own, and I've got my best friend with me, which is me. I first came across Kuli on Instagram, and and I saw his videos, and they just really resonated with me. And we connected and we discussed my situation, and that's how it all started. Where would my life be if I hadn't met Kuli? I think I was always meant to meet Kuli, because I believe everyone comes into your life for a reason, and there was things that he was going to bring to me that would get to help me to get to self-love and to love myself. I just needed someone to show me the way and to just realize my true potential. What were my hesitations about Kuli at the beginning? I always had the belief that, you would always have to question people and not to trust them, because there was always alternative motives. So because that was conditioned into me from society and culture, that was why I was so resistant. And I was hesitant because it was a lot of money for a start. And also I had never, ever put myself first. I have always put everyone else ahead of me and my own needs. So now all of a sudden I've got this man, stranger, should I say, telling me, hang on, hand me some money over and start loving yourself. and I'll help you get onto that journey was very, very triggering, should I say. So for me to be unlearn the conditioning that I have been taught was very hard. But taking that leap of faith and be like, you know what, what's the worst that can happen mentality was something that made me realize that I don't need to be hesitant. I was like, you know what, I need to put myself first for once in my life. And I did it. And I don't regret it at all. It was the best decision of my life. Working with Kuli has, enabled me to find myself. And now I'm a better version of myself for me. And I have removed people that no longer serve me. And the person that I was all them years ago is gone. And now I have my inner peace and happiness. And if I hadn't have took that risk, I wouldn't be where I am today. The first thing I would say is that it's really important that you trust your intuition. On this journey, your inner voice is so important. What we've done over the years is we've just not listened to that person, that inner voice. So I would say, first of all, trust your intuition. Then I would say, I know we've been conditioned all our lives to not invest in ourselves. And it's time that we do, because ultimately you want to be happy, and to find your happiness, you need to self-love. It is so important. I never understood how important it was until I started this journey. And working with Kuli, he can give you the tools. He can help you find your power within, and for you to start making the choices, your choices on how you go forward in your life. Taking that time out to have a session with Kuli and find yourself. I will guarantee that once you find yourself and that you love yourself, that you will never regret this journey. If someone is hesitant in working with Kuli, I would say to them is to take that leap of faith. Kuli knows what he is doing. He understands self-love, and that's evident in his videos and way that he talks. He has a calm manner, and he will listen to you and help you to find the answers that you need to find for yourself. And I really believe that he can help you on the start of this journey for you, and for you to find and have the power within you to love yourself. Definitely, you should go on this journey with him. Yes, it's long, but you sometimes need that, because healing is lifelong, in my opinion. And taking the time to absorb all the healing, all the self-love and the triggers that have happened to you over however many years that you've been in this world, it takes time. And you need to be kind to yourself and understand that this is not a 2-minute fixed job. It's a long process, but you have to be ready for it. Because when you start going down this healing path, and it's going to open up wounds and open up things that you have to be ready for. But it's okay. It's okay to feel it, and to feel the pain, and to feel what has happened, and the, not the mistakes, the lessons that you have learned over the years, and be able to accept them and accept you as a person, as an individual, and know that you're good enough and that you can love yourself. And I believe that Kuli can help you on that path, for you to be able to have the realizations. How would I describe my experience at my first ever retreat in Mexico? Well, I've got to say it was completely amazing. I didn't know what to expect. I was very excited about going, and it's an experience that I will never forget. It really was one of the pivotal points of my life for so many reasons, I think, but mainly one was because I actually went on a self-love retreat, which was literally just about yourself. And again, like I have said, is that we were always told that loving yourself is selfish, but it isn't. And that's taken me a long time to realize. So me going on this self-love retreat was an amazing experience, and I will never forget it. Okay, so what made me fly out to Mexico with Kuli, a person I've never actually ever met before? There was actually a running joke about this when we were on the trip, because all the girls that were on the retreat with us, we literally found out that it was the same similar experiences. We just told our families that we were going to Mexico, a foreign country that we hadn't been to before, and we were going away with this man that we've only ever met on Instagram, and that he was going to be teaching us about self-love. So it was something that was quite hilarious at the time, but I just knew when I first met Kuli that I wanted to go on a retreat. And when he had told me that he was going to do a retreat, I was excited about going on one of his. There was no hesitation for me. As soon as he told me that he was doing a retreat in October, I was like, I'm coming. I have to just sort out childcare, but I'm coming. I just knew that my first retreat, I would want to be with someone I knew, and I did trust Kuli, even though I had never met him before. I did trust him, and that he would look after me if, being in a foreign country as a woman on my own. And there was no hesitation. I just got on a plane all by myself and went to Mexico and had a fantastic experience on this retreat. How has the retreat impacted my life? The retreat has helped me release aspects of my life that I had held on to. I was able to be vulnerable and to speak my truth at the retreat. I was given the opportunity to talk about an issue that had just actually happened a couple of weeks before. And it was actually a life lesson that I've continued from previous cycles of past lives, should I say, as well. And I had finally broken my cycles and learned the lessons that I had to learn. But it was a painful experience for me. And going on the retreat allowed me to be open and talk about the experience and hear back from complete strangers without judgment about it all, and just being there for me and me taking on board what I wanted to take on board. I felt safe there in speaking my truth, and I'm grateful for that. What was the best thing for me at the retreat in Mexico? I don't even think I can give you just one thing that was amazing at the retreat. From the people that I met there, the new friends that I connected with, to the food, to the experiences that we were able to have out there. They were just all unique and amazing. The experiences that stood out for me, should I say, that really impacted me, were the ice bath. Having an ice bath on the beach, that tested me, and I was proud of myself for doing that and sitting there and experiencing it, the pain, should I say, and learning to get through it, because actually my breathing was so fast. And when I was able to regulate it, I felt so much at peace. And then after completing it, just running on the beach with a victory dance was just amazing. And that my friend had got it on video, so I was proud of that moment. Then there was the Mayan ceremony, which was in the middle of this jungle. I'm not going to go into too much detail of it but it's an experience that you wouldn't normally do. So for me to have gone to Mexico and for Kuli having this in the itinerary was actually amazing. And I loved it. It pushed me to limits that I wasn't expecting. And what I had felt during it was amazing. And the funniest bit, or the scariest bit, I should say, was when there was a Scorpio that was literally sitting right in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, there's a Scorpio, in my calmest voice. And that I wasn't scared, but I was also like, can you get rid of it? So that was actually interesting. But emotionally and mentally, I think the thing that was the most pivotal point of that retreat was when we were having our yoga ceremonies, and the last day we were just releasing from the heart. So everything that I had kind of been talking about and all the stuff that I had kind of not released over the years, there was a moment where I just felt this kind of crack openness in my heart. And all of a sudden I just started crying. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And it was so releasing, and it felt so good. And the comfort I got from everyone and afterwards was just amazing. So there's just not one thing that happened on that retreat that I can really just say was amazing, because they all were. It just worked. I don't know, the universe just made it how it was supposed to happen. But I will never forget my retreat in Mexico. What would I say to someone if they were hesitant about going onto a retreat with Kuli? I would say, trust your intuition for a start. What you should be looking at is what it's going to provide for you, and the space that you can that Kuli can hold for you is amazing. And you get to meet new people who are probably going through their own self-love journey, and being around people that are in the same mindset as you can really be empowering. So I would say, if you are ready to start your self-love journey and to really to be open to all these experiences and not to be in this fear mentality, and to love yourself and to really, really go deep and experience all that it has to offer you, then go for it. Kuli's an amazing person, and he is able to be there and say what he needs to say to help you to find yourself. Also the food, the yoga, the itinerary was just amazing. I don't even, you look at it and be like, oh no, there's not a lot going on it, but actually it all worked out perfectly. And even in the evenings, we had our own time and we were able to bond with each other. And I was able to release my inner child and have fun, which is something I've never been able to do before. So there's things that you're going to see on a retreat that you couldn't get possibly from anywhere else. So just go with it. Find that money, invest in yourself, and enjoy. I would say Kuli was great at holding space for us all at the retreat. I went to him right at the beginning of the retreat and was clear to him that I had something big that I had to share and that I needed to get it off my chest. And he was aware of that. And when we went to our sessions, he allowed me to speak and to share. So that I'm grateful for that. But also, we weren't forced to share, and not everyone did. That was okay. And I think that was the best thing about it as well, was that you weren't expected to. If you wanted to share something from your journey, then you were able to do that. The journaling and everything that happened, that Kuli had put forward, he was just very much there just to see how it all happened and how it all came together, and was there when if we ever needed him. It was nice actually on one of the last days that he took time individually, because we didn't really do anything individual with him, should we say. So on the last day, it was nice to be sitting with him and just really just have a catch up about how we've been doing and how the retreat was and what we got from it, and just also just seeing what he had seen from him being just a facilitator and the growth that we had made. So I appreciate that. That was a nice little touch to it at the end.